Oh yeah, we're back. Well, it's a little bit late for me, okay, but I gotta keep my goals. Gotta keep posting a video every day. And today, I was actually just hanging out with my AI friends 1 second ago. We're ranting and raving about, I don't know, everything we've seen for the week, different paper we've read, a lot of the stuff we've been talking about on this channel. And an interesting topic kind of came up, and one that got me thinking a little bit. And I think the way I'm gonna phrase it is the dumbest model for the job. We were talking about when are we using our best models and when are we using a weaker model? And then from there, what's the strategy around when you should pick a particular model? And I think in general, there's a simple answer for this, right? We want to use the dumbest model for the job, right? Now, what does this mean? We want to use the dumbest model. If we are asking something basic from AI, we don't want to wait long. We don't want to pay more than we need. All right, we don't want to impact our API limits. We want to just get the answer answered quickly and cheaply. So if there's a model out there, O1 Pro, and we need to do something very simple, add two numbers together. First of all, why are you using AI? Maybe potentially for that, but let's just say we are doing that. Then you don't want to actually be asking the biggest model. Now, the problem is how do you determine what is the dumbest model for every question we have? There is this kind of, in my mind, I was calling it like a shrink wrapping phase. I used to do this when it came to like running a server. So let's say I have a server and I don't know really when I'm going to be running what I've got, whatever, a piece of hardware, or I've got a virtual server. I've got an EC2 instance in the cloud. I'm going to be running a server on there. That server's going to be taking web requests and, I don't know, doing something with them. I don't know how much memory I actually need. I want to pay the cheapest, smallest amount humanly possible, but I don't know how much it's going to be. So you over provision at first, then you run a bunch of tests. You see how real traffic goes on there. Maybe you do some load testing. I don't know. You monitor and see how things are happening. And from there, you shrink wrap. You say, okay, great. It looks like we're only hitting these limits. So I'm just going to shrink it down and I'm going to build an instance that fits those particular parameters. Maybe I give myself some headroom. Something similar needs to happen for AI. The only thing is that shrink wrapping phase is going to be like, you have to ask questions and have them answered and see if they can answer them properly. So I'd have a series of models, dumber to smarter, or sorry, dumber to smarter. And essentially you say, okay, great. The smartest one, you can answer the question. Fantastic. A little bit dumber one. Can you answer the question? Okay, you can. Little dumber one. Can you answer the question? Yes, you can. Little dumber one. Can you? No, you can't. Great. This is the dumbest model I can use for this particular task. Now, there could be inconsistencies with this, and then you're like, oh, I want to bump up one higher than that. Also, every single model is not purely, hey, here's dumb to smart. There's a dumb to smart scale, like what the model's trained on, like a bunch of different factors can relate, right? This could be, when we say training like dumb models, these models could be very, very, very domain specific. So they're stupid at everything except whatever they're on their domain. In general, right now, though, I'm really more talking about simply like if let's say we're using just a bunch of APIs, right? Let's say I'm using 4.0 versus O1 versus Claude 3.5 Sonnet, right? Like which one of those do I want to pull for which task? And are there even cheaper, simpler, faster ones I want to do? I think a similar kind of concept applies if you think about images too. Right now, if I am trying to, storyboard something, figure out, which direction I want to go for something, I could say, I just want to use like a Stable Diffusion Turbo and get a bunch of feedback really fast. And it's just helping me iterate and think through ideas. And everything is all going to be AI slop and not usable. But at least I'm getting near my ideas. Okay, now it seems like I think we know these are a type of scenes we like. I want to start working on one idea. Now I would bump up to a better model that's going to be more expensive, take more time. I can actually see, maybe being actually used somewhere in production potentially. So it's definitely going to happen over there in images as well. I feel like we need a framework of some sort. We need a framework where I can like put in a series of questions or put in my workflow, and I can over time just like do A/B testing against all the answers, and then I can keep saying, okay, great. Well, here's two answers. See, the problem is if you A/B test, you're always saying is one better than the other, and a more intelligent model may be better. But whatever. The point is I could just say, here's a workflow where I'm always given two images, two responses, two whatever. I'm always saying, are they both acceptable? Is one better than the other? And then over time, we could say, okay, great. Well, I now need to produce these type of questions just need to be acceptable. They don't need to be the best. We know we've gathered data around how you've been working regularly by giving you two answers. So now when we're running this model in, let's say, production, we're only going to default to the cheaper one, or maybe maybe you could say, hey, if it's a premium customer, you default maybe to the more expensive one. These things can also, these pathways can then flow and move from each one. It doesn't always have to just be a simple, like always use the dumber one. These can be dynamic, and we could say, hey, it gives you back a dumb answer. People don't like it. You say, okay, great. Then give back a better answer. If that happens a certain number of times in a certain pathway, it keeps giving the dumber model answer and then getting rejected and having to ask for the better model. Then we should just stop that pathway from happening, and we should just always use the better model. So it could be self-adapting and learning. It's learning. Right? The question is that who are the people that are telling the model that I want to use this one or the other? Right now, we're talking about humans pretty much. So I think that is going to be the way it's going to go. So humans would, for now, they're helping the reinforcement learning. They're in the middle. And then when you run in prod, you just use those human decisions to help determine which path to go. And then you could be doing spot tests with your users, like TikTok and other apps do this every once in a while. They present you two different options. You're like, hey, which do you like better? It could just do that every once in a while and say, hey, human, do you like this or that one better? So it's not just always presenting two, and then we're training on real world data at the same time. So I think that's interesting too. But I don't know. In general, I think we need to build a little bit of code around this. So I think I'm going to probably take some time, actually just write a couple little scripts that'll just swap out different models and see what I can get in terms of cost and performance by always using the dumbest model for the job. But overall, quick little rant. Had to get one in because, hey, every single day. I'm going to read a fun paper tomorrow. I'm going to read the Titan paper. Didn't have time tonight, but Friday night, that's going to be a fun one here. So stick around for that. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments.